today I actually wanted to talk to you guys about a personal experience I had. Now this is actually my first experience with really with being told I should mask. My first experience being told to mask. Now, I, of course, have talked multiple times about being an early childhood abuse survivor. That abuse started when I was 2 weeks old. So, of course, I was not able to create a sense of self. And now they are exploring the idea of CPTSD, which is actually for those of us who experienced PTSD from extremely early childhood abuse, because of the fact that before a certain time in your life, 4 or 3 years old, you are still developing quite a lot of personality traits. But within your first couple of months, you are forming your reality and your placement in your world. So, unfortunately, my placement in my world was never truly formed, at least not until after high school, or after I was in high school, I should say, because of the fact that I was unable to. I was going through trauma at the time. So we'll fast forward here until I'm 4 years old. Now, for people who don't personally know me, people who aren't in the know, I was still in the thick of my abuse at the time. In fact, this is during some of the worst part of my abuse. This is not just the one person starting my initial abuse, but this is also outside abusers as well have started in for about, at this point, a year and a half, roughly. I can't give you exact date time and stuff, so. But roughly, I have, my abuse has been ramped up for about a year and a half. My mother has left my father, so I do not have the stress of watching my mother and brothers being abused. However, I am still not a normal child. To get me in here in the first place, I had to be tested twice, because the first time I would not talk to her because she was a stranger. The second time, I told her that Mondale was a better candidate, but Reagan would end up winning by a landslide because of name recognition. So, the tester, who was my teacher, she had some idea that I was different, but I don't know that she had an idea of how different. So, I get to my first day of school. My mom hugs me. She tells me I just gotta go, and I'm gonna be staying here, and she'll be back in a couple hours. And I tell her I really don't want her to go because I don't know if I can trust these people, and I'm so scared. And she's talking to me. Of course, I'm tearing up because I'm remembering. Don't worry, guys. I'm not sad or nothing. So she's talking to me, and I can hear her voice getting more anxious. And of course, I, as a little child, already know I don't want my mom upset. I've already been hiding what my maternal grandmother has been doing for this long, for 4 years now, because I don't want my mother more upset, because I just got done a year and a half ago getting done watching them be beat, and psychologically abused by the same woman who's abusing me. So I, of course, marshaled it up. Didn't do nothing. I didn't even let a few tears drop until my mother's face turned from the window in the door and walked away. And I let a few tears drop. And I'm really upset, and I turn around and look around, and it's a big room. This was in a room in the basement of my YMCA back in the town I grew up in. So, this is a big room. It's got this street painted on the floor, big enough for these wooden cars to have a lane each. Actually, no, I think it was just big enough for the wooden cars. We had these, and I don't know if they were cardboard or if they were slightly harder wood. We had these cars, and I don't remember if it was seats or you walked while you were in the car. And they had these little buildings set up like a little town. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do now because I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how long till my mom comes back. But I know she wants me to behave for the adults here. That's all I know. So this little kid comes up to me and goes, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And I said, and this is kind of the reason why I can tell you as a quote, is because it is in my mental house, it is burned like a black wall. Just to remind me. But I said, I'm okay, but I'm scared I won't be able to assimilate well, and nobody's gonna like me. I was talking a foreign language, so I got to talk to the teacher again. She asked me what's wrong and all that, and she asked, "Well, the kid said you said something funny in a foreign language. Can you repeat it?" And so I repeated. I can remember having to look the word up with her. That is such a big word. Let's go look that up. Wow. And so she told the kids what it meant. Then she kind of, while she was sitting there with me, she goes, "Okay, now dear, I'm not sure if you know, but it's a little harder for kids, for kids your age to understand big words. They don't always hear these kind of big words. So, I mean, maybe you want to try to, maybe act a little bit more like them." It's the first time I was told that I should mask up. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is not just because I'm remembering. This is because it's a little sad. Because after all, I don't like faking who I am. I hated faking it. And to be honest with you, faking it really led me into a big old nasty, not really caring if I lied to people because they didn't seem to care whether I was lying to them. They wanted me to hide who I was. They wanted me to hide my feelings. That was my first initial being told essentially to mask up. Obviously not physically mask up, but mask up nonetheless. Now, of course, throughout the years I've been told many times because I have tried to make filters. I've had people, damage me enough where those filters are mutilated. Sometimes by my PTSD and sometimes by the person who's on the other end. And I have had people tell me to mask up just because I just want to convey something. Happy, sad, but something that they just don't want to hear. I've even gotten the advice from people who, whether I know them or not, are people who are trying to help me grow my social media. It's mostly by people who don't know me. But, everybody's got their own problems. Nobody wants to hear it all. Sure. that's not what my masking up is about. It's not whether I have problems or not. Because my masking up is about hiding the deeper me. The person who's really behind these eyes. The masking up is speaking in a way that is easier for more people to understand, even if it's less comfortable for me to try to trip around the words and find the right one to say instead of this one. And masking up is part of the reason why my child felt emboldened to say things like, "We're not bohemian gypsies," or just because escaped slave happened to decide to join our family doesn't mean we're African American legally, even though the one-drop rule are actual sets of laws in the states, not just a rule. Calling it the one-drop rule minimizes it enough, and most people don't seem to realize that it is actually the law of the land and not just a rule of decorum. And masking up is definitely a way that the inner negative voice feels just as emboldened. And my negative inner voice, well, y'all might think you know what feeling like being a monster is like. But this negative voice will definitely have you questioning whether you actually know that or not. So of course, through my child trying to tell me that I am using a slur by calling myself a gypsy, despite the fact that that is exactly what I am. Through having multiple people play on my PTSD so hard that I hermited myself for a long time, I have learned that masking, especially for me and people like me, is one of the most deadly games you can play with yourself. Well, just wanted to do a short one, guys. That's all I really have to say on it. I just wanted to tell you guys about, my earliest incident of being suggested that I should mask who I am, and the aftermath. Why I'm not going to be doing that at all anymore. To be honest with you, I loved Doctor Who as a small child, and because I was being rebellious against my mother, I rebelled against Doctor Who too. I also rebelled against being a bohemian gypsy. I did not lose the lessons that I learned throughout my childhood that my mother was giving me as my gypsy lessons. But I did kind of divorce myself just a wee bit from who I really am. And you know what? I don't believe, strangelings, that any of us deserve to minimize ourselves. I mean, if you have things that you feel are a danger or harmful you have in your life, or that you do, and that you feel you need to work on them, work on them. If you feel there is a pain in your psyche somewhere, you might not want to work on it, but work on it. But when it comes to who you are, character, as long as you know you're doing right by everyone you come across, or at the very least, give the same energy they give you, we got nothing to worry about. No need to mask. The reason why there's no need to mask is because you're a true tribe, you're a true authentic family, you're a true loved ones. Actually care about you. Care about you. Those character traits you have, that's part of it. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Don't forget, I love you. Take care of each other. I'll see you guys in the next video.